from the west side of the river to the west side of Queens, we got a creator of worlds, set designer, Kimie Nishikawa.
Konbanwa.
Jeez.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show.
To the
Thank you for coming
incredible
on.
studio.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming on.
So, what's been your journey into scenic design?
Well, I always wanted to be a film director. So I was watching films from a really young age and just trying to watch everything, like kind of like a collector even, just watching everything at the VHS rental stores. And so that's what I thought I was going to do, but I didn't know how. So I went into college, just a normal college. My major is linguistics, so it has nothing to do with arts. And so I decided to join an after-school activity. This was in Japan, and we have these things called circles, which is just basically after-school activity groups. And I went to see what the film group was like, and I went in and everyone was stoned. And
sounds like college.
Yeah, and they were like, oh, we maybe make a film once a year. We're basically just drinking and watching films. And I didn't want that. I wanted to be like passionate about something. And then next door was the theater group. And they were like, oh yeah, we do 4 productions a year.
Wow.
We fund it ourselves. We write it, direct it ourselves. We act in it. And I was like, oh, that's great. And so I joined that, and that kind of became my life for 4 years. I didn't, I was a bad student, so I mostly did that, and I did a little bit of everything, like sound programming, whatever, writing and directing, also acting, and then I kind of fell into set design, and I really liked it. And so after graduating, I didn't know, was it really make money? So I joined a company that does music videos and commercials, and I was with them about a couple of years, art directing and assisting, but which made me realize I wanted to go back to theater. I was kind of freelancing on the side, but yeah, so I went back to assisting this designer in Japan for free, which was rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was rough. So I was also bartending and stuff, and she was not a very kind person. I don't really know how else to put it. So I was with her for about a year, and I needed to quit. It was just like really bad for me emotionally and also physically, and so, but she was very powerful in the Japanese set design community. So I thought, oh, if I quit her, I can't really be an assistant to anyone else. I know it would have probably been fine, but at that point, I don't know, I was like 24, 25, I was like scared. Yeah, and then I was like, okay, I have to go to America.
Wow.
And so I decided to...
you needed a change.
Yeah, come back. I was in America from 2 to 11, so luckily I could speak English, and I always wanted to come back. So that's how I went to NYU and had a, I don't know if you want to call it proper, but I guess an education. And
yeah, but it's just an amazingly unorthodox way that you got there, like
no, it was a bit
linguistics
long,
and that.
but that was my
but like how cool to have those outside influences. That's awesome.
You've created sets for Don Wynn's show, Hello from the Children of Planet Earth. Recently, the current production, Ain't No Mo at the Public, and The Light at MCC. And all of them very much are abstract and super hyper-realistic. What do you find your aesthetic through line to be? Do you have like a scenic design philosophy?
Yes, I think, well, first I always start with a script, like whatever it is. Just reading through the script and kind of procrastinating from having an idea, because that's the most stressful part of the process for me, like having a clear idea. And so I always start out with primary research, which for me is very realistic, like research. Even for Ain't No Mo, which is like such a crazy play, it goes everywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
But my initial research was like mundane airport photos or photos of Michael Jackson's funeral or
Got it.
there. And so that doesn't change for me from each play to play.
Smart.
Yeah, and then from there it's really what the feeling of that play is, because I think the set design should have space for a story to happen. So it can't stand alone. It needs to have like a potential for something to happen. So that's something I always try to be careful of, so it doesn't become like, oh, this set is complete as in itself. But I also really want anything to be bold. So there's this saying, and I think it was in Japanese, I can't remember, but it was on my wall for a very long time, that says, like, it's not beautiful because it's not bold. And so even if it is a supernaturalistic set, I still wanted to do some, like, for me the light was that the ceiling is protruding and encompassing the audience. Like, for me that was a strong gesture. So for whatever play, I want to find something that can do that, can reach out into the audience.
Interesting. Have you ever been in a situation where like your aesthetic has sort of clashed with a director's vision or anything like that, or do you find yourself to really be able to, I don't know, be malleable to different kinds of situations?
Oh yeah, totally. There's been times where it's like, oh, I don't think that's a good idea, but then I also think it's our job to figure that out, even if we don't agree with it. Okay, it doesn't matter if I don't agree with it. Let's just consider it for a moment. And then from there, I might get a better idea. So when that happens, I try to bring in a better idea than what the director was saying, but in the same line, you know?
See. Right.
But yeah, honestly, that happened for like Ain't No Mo too. Like because there's so many scenes and like that. Also, if you look at the pictures, I think that's very different aesthetically from what I've been doing in the past. Like it's more colored and just more like pop.
For sure.
Yeah.
So.
No, I mean African American Airlines. You can't be drab. You can't be. You can't be black and white. Like,
so that was
color.
a really great challenge.
That's great.
For sure.
So I'm curious, besides the primary research that you mentioned, are there any other things that inspire you in your artistic process when you create? Or is there architecture, or you mentioned colors? Like, what are some of those things?
I look at photography a lot, about like mundane places or spaces. There's this photographer, Stephen Shore, and Joel Sternfeld, who I really like. And if you look at their pictures, it's just a gas station or like a juke joint, or but it just those really inspire me. I think it's how the photographer frames everything, because what we do is we're framing a space. And so photography is very important to me. Gregory Crutzen is also another artist. Really,
is that a photographer? Or?
Yeah, he's a photographer, but he takes these beautiful images of. He sets everything up, so it's different from the other two that I mentioned. His is much more theatrical, and there you can see that there's this whole story in there. But yeah.
Do you find that your cinematic sort of background influences a lot of your theatrical like set design, or is that sort of like in the past and that Kimie is dead?
It's funny though, because I was frustrated at the camera being able to frame everything. Like if I design this room, I would design it as a whole, but then when the camera comes in, you're only going to see that part. You're only going to see that part.
Thank
and that,
God for
Yeah.
that.
I know, right?
This is lovely. We will keep that.
Yes, exactly.
Keep that camera frame.
But that annoyed me so much, and that's why I wanted to go back to theater, because then I had control for the whole thing. So I don't know. I'll probably say yes, it's probably affecting me because it is part of me and what I did in the past. But I don't really think about it though.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. Are there specific theaters you like to design for? I don't really know theaters outside of New York that much, like in terms of architecture, but.
Yeah, but speaking of like the frame, you know, like proscenium or.
Yeah.
I do like a proscenium, I do, but in the round also excites me. Like the jungle, do you see the jungle?
No, but that was at St. Anne's, right?
Yeah.
I did not. I saw pictures of it. Yeah.
And that's great. I don't know.
So you like really immersive stuff?
I do like immersive. I don't get the chance to do it that often, but that's where I want to go. So producers.
Yeah. Yeah.
The future.
Yeah. I don't want to do that.
Interesting.
I mean, 3/4 thrusts. I don't know why. I don't really like those.
It just feels too naked up front or something.
Yeah, it just feels like, I don't know. It's like you can only do a wall. I mean, that's very unimaginative.
No, I think I'm going to argue with you because you did a great job with the light.
Right. That was a 3/4
Because that was a thrust.
Yeah.
And we both actually discussed how the ceiling really helped us feel like it was a part of the show. So success. Like,
thank you.
I did,
Yeah.
that's right. I didn't even.
Do you remember that?
We had a conversation about it. I didn't even like clock now. Yeah, we did. When I was in the space probably, but now. Because I just remember it's so realistic, I almost think of it as a proscenium, but that's right. It felt super intimate because it was like we were there. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I was also sitting right by. I was like the first seat on the edge of the thrust, and so I was right next to the entrance.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it was. I kind of had this amazing view of like everything, and at one point there was some drama happening next to me, and everyone's looking my way, and like it was palpable. I was like sweating and like trying to like, oh God, I feel like I can feel him breathing. Like it was just so
very close.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks. That's great because when Logan told me they want to do a 3/4 thrust or an alley. You know, in my mind, I was like, "Oh no!" But you know, of course,
like, sounds great.
Yeah, no, but yeah, I'm glad. You know, it was great for that play. I think being able to see everyone's reaction, I think, was important.
Right.
But yeah, I really wanted to not be it's a 3/4 thrust, so there's only like a backdrop. You know,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I see. Are there any specific venues in New York City that you like to design for, or
that I've already designed in?
Or you maybe, well, I guess one that you've already designed in, and maybe things that you would like to design in. But
Yeah, you know, I did like the new MCC space, so where the light was.
Yeah,
that was really nice. It was beautiful. I always love seating that can be configured in different ways. I don't really know. Let's see. I would love to design at St. Anne's, you know, like.
Yeah.
Right.
Or the Armory.
Yeah. The Armory does crazy things.
30 years from now.
Yeah.
But a big open space.
Got it.
I will love that.
Right.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Armory, have you seen when they did Macbeth there? They'd had don't worry, whatever. We're not in a theater space.
Wait, what?
No, when the Kenneth Branagh
The
did
Scottish
Macbeth.
play.
Oh,
Sir.
I did not see that.
Oh, okay. I've seen some shows. At one time, they did like a bunch of Shakespeare shows. I think it was the Royal Shakespeare Company came out like years ago, and they built the globe inside the Armory.
What?
Yeah, they
the
like,
whole thing?
or something like that. Yeah. They like built it. They built like another
Casual.
theater inside where you had to go in and then like it was a spiral thing.
God,
It was
British
crazy.
theater money.
It was crazy. It was like a theater inside another theater.
That's incredible.
I'm gonna look that up.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, it was nuts. But the Armory is just such a large
It's huge. It's
space.
an armory.
Why would you do that?
I don't know. Look,
Armory.
it was the
I
whole,
don't-
the
yeah.
novelty of it.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
You do you,
Look,
RSC.
I don't know why rich people do half the things they do, but
Yeah.
sometimes they just like doing stuff like that. So.
Like Fire Island.
Yeah. Oh, Fire Festival.
Fire
Yeah.
Festival. Sorry, Fire Festival.
I was gonna
Fire
say,
Island.
Not Fire Island.
Gay
Fire.
times are had
Yeah,
by
yeah.
all at Fire Island.
Sorry.
I've had some
Fire Festival.
fatal times there. But Fire Festival. So you mentioned some of the amazing photographers that you look at for inspiration. Are there any other scenic designers in New York or outside of New York that you also find inspiration from, or just really admire?
I have to say the 3 professors I had at NYU. So it was Christine Jones, Andrew Lieberman, and Paul Steinberg.
Wow.
They put a stamp on me.
Right.
For every, and they're so different from each other, which was great. But definitely those 3 I just follow, and they also gave me like words of wisdom. Like I remember Christine telling me, or telling the class, like think of your design as a present. Like if you start thinking about the audience, you're not going to be able to do anything.
Right.
So what would you do for your partner or your kids or whatever, and you do your best, and then they'll open it, and then it's up to them if they like it or not.
Right.
And that was great advice. And then Andrew said, "There's no such thing as a decorative window." At my interview for NYU, and I will never forget that. Probably. Yeah. It was.
He's not wrong.
He's not wrong.
Yeah.
But in theaters, there's so much of that.
Right.
Like that
Yeah.
window is probably that won't open. I don't know,
Right.
like things like that.
Interesting.
But it's not about their design really. It's but kind of what the philosophy.
Yes.
Yeah. And people, Jan Fursveld, is that how you pronounce his name?
I don't know.
He works with Ivo van Hove.
Oh, okay. Got it.
I do love his work. Very dry, and I love that. Also, Anna Wiebrock, who's a German set designer, and her set designs are based on like research. She finds this one space that exists and painstakingly just visits it, researches it, and then recreates it on stage. Very amazing. And the new generation too, like not new, but like people around my age, like Dane Laffrey, Laura Jelinek, like people who are.
Yeah, Dylan's great. Yeah.
Out of the many designs that you've created, what are some of your favorite work?
Which child do you love the most?
Yeah, right?
Who's your favorite?
Yeah, right.
No, recently it's Tin Cat Shoes.
Oh, I saw that.
Did you see
Club
that?
Thumb. Yeah.
It was so much fun.
That was
that
crazy.
one.
It was crazy.
You know, I was actually, when I was looking at some of your work, I was like, oh, this is such an interesting blend of like the abstract and the really specific.
Yeah.
And then as the show goes on, and then you're
It's
in a
just, like,
casino.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so wild.
That was wild.
And the space is like literally this living room.
It's tiny. It's
Yeah.
tiny.
I mean, movie studio.
right.
Professional
Yeah.
set.
Yeah, TV set or whatever it is. Yeah. But yeah, it's such a small space, and I was like, wow, I feel really like in another world. It was wild.
That was great. It was so fun, but also, the Wild Project. I don't know. It's like.
Oh, it's tiny.
Yeah,
It is the size.
It is
of
the
this.
size.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so in the beginning in the shoe store, that was only 5 feet deep or something.
Oh wow.
But that was great. It was my first time working with Knut and Trish, the writer, and we went on a field trip to the Natural History Museum. That was our first design meeting because Knut had this idea of, oh, what if the outdoors is kind of rendered in this diorama style, and he had that idea, and I thought, oh, that's so, it suits the play so well, that kitschiness a little bit.
Yes.
And also that freed, touched it.
You're good.
But that freed me from, oh my God, I have to recreate nature on stage, which I like rocks and trees on stage really give me fear because I don't want to do that because we can never do it like, you know, fully as nature. So and that really freed me, and then it was like, okay, great, we're gonna make a diorama, and but I felt like I was back in college. Just you know, we were there until 2-3 a.m. painting. I was like painting everything myself with help, of course, and Jenny and Aaron, the TD and production manager, were back there like putting, you know, the blinds had images. The blind.
I'm trying to remember the blinds. When the shoe store.
Yeah. So those were cut, hand cut, strip by strip.
Wow.
And were pasted on each blind.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So, you know, it was all this. We didn't have enough money. So everything was, okay, do it yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
Which was great. It really made me feel like, wow, we're making this together.
Yeah, the perfect venue for it, like Lower East Side, like gritty DIY theater, and like that. You got it.
Yeah,
I really
you made your own blinds, girl.
Yeah.
Is there a set design that you didn't create, someone else's that you really admire that you've seen recently?
Yes, Oklahoma.
Oh, it's St. Anne's.
At St. Anne's.
You have a thing for St. Anne's.
Producer. I do.
Yeah.
Cool. That was great. I love that, and the lighting was amazing in that too. I also have a thing for just like plywood or just this material, just one material and go with it. I really like that. But also the Glass Menagerie at on Broadway.
Oh, on Broadway.
On Broadway, 2016.
I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, that was really great. That was Andrew Lieberman. Scenes from a Marriage.
Oh, the Evo Van Hope one? Yeah, I didn't get to see that one. I really wanted to see it.
I didn't get to see that one either.
Yeah.
That was really great. It just like, I don't know if you know, but everything disappeared. So there was intermission, and then everything, like, all the set was gone. And it was just crazy. That shocked me, and I was still in school at that time.
If you could give advice to your younger self or just to young aspiring theater makers, do you have any words of wisdom for them?
Be really nice.
That's good advice.
And generous. I think that's, there's so many people that are assholes, and I see that, and then later on you hear about them and people are like, I'm never gonna work with that person again. My gosh, people talk to each other.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And it's theater's a small world.
It is.
Very
small world.
Very small.
I can just really be generous and nice and don't talk shit at the bar.
Talk shit on our show. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, for set designers, I would say, like, just do it. Do those $200, $300 shows. Because you can easily get wrapped up in being a full-time assistant.
I see. I see.
So assisting someone else's vision instead of creating your own for less. Yeah.
Yes, I think it's important to design as much as you can.
Last question. Recommendation. Do you know the format? Do we have to explain it?
It can be anything. It
Yes.
could be. We've had apple cider vinegar recently.
That's a hot recommendation for some reason.
Restaurants, it could be theater related, non-theater related.
Okay.
Yes.
To our audience, the middle camera.
The
you
middle
can give
camera.
It, whatever one you want.
Or you can listen to me.
follow my mother's Instagram.
Yes!
It's all about her Welsh Corgi, Dip, the Welsh Corgi.
Oh my god.
And in Japan, he's printed on a Uniqlo t-shirt.
What?
Yes.
Her corgi's on a Uniqlo?
Yeah. I could show you after this.
Yeah.
Oh, you will be.
Holy shit. Holy shit.
He's cute.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and sometimes I'm in those.
Yeah, and sometimes I show up on my mom's Instagram.
Yeah, in Japan.
Very
In between pictures of the
In
corgi.
between,
Hilarious.
That's what I've got.
That's
Well,
amazing.
thank you for coming on to the show.
Thank you so much.
This
This
is
has been
so
great.
Cheers, cheers, cheers,
Cheers.
cheers.